And we speculated a lot about Biden's health, a lot. But we never thought Joe Biden was dead. And we never wished he croaked in the Oval. But Tampon was downright giddy thinking about it.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things. And although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
Timmy's scrolling through his phone, hoping to see news the president's dead. We wished Biden was alive, and they wished Trump was dead. People were texting reporters asking if the president had passed away.
A whole lot of people on the internet convinced themselves that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was in fact dead. It was everywhere. People I am friends with but aren't into politics were texting me asking if Trump had died. Just to be clear, let's get the good stuff in here. No, Donald Trump is not dead.
How did that rumor spread with Trump, but not with Biden? Democrats were convinced. Over the weekend, there was a video going around of someone throwing stuff out of the White House window, and they said, see, contractors can't work at the White House while the president's there. He must be 6 feet under. Trump hadn't even heard about it. Our very own stupid son of a bitch, Peter Doocy, had to show it to him on the phone. Trump called the video AI.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof.
So the White House says the video is real. So that must not be Trump. Has to be a body double. Well, someone was doing interviews over the weekend and posting all night. Quote, 3 days ago, while admiring the stonework, I happened to notice a huge gash in the limestone. It was deep and nasty. Lo and behold, because of the fact that we've installed the finest security equipment anywhere, they brought back the stupid people with their boss watching in sunglasses. It was a subcontractor that was installing heavy landscaping on a steel cart that was broken and tilting badly, with it rubbing hard against the soft, beautiful stone. Something like this should never happen. So Trump fired the contractor and banned them from the White House. So Trump did an interview, golfed, and fired people over Labor Day. He's very much alive. Joe Biden, barely there. Let me give you an example. Trump's replacing Biden's presidential portrait at the White House with a portrait of the auto pen. That pen worked harder than Biden ever did, so it should be honored. Meanwhile, Trump doesn't stop. White House sources says he seems to wake up and say, what else needs to be improved? Every day it's something new. He's very focused on America's 250th birthday and cares a lot about making the city's fountains operational again. He cares a lot about the fountains, quote unquote. Trump's not dead. He's bringing America back to life. And water is life. Even Fetterman says the president has good taste.
The plans are going to be done in a tasteful and historical kind of a way. I mean, they're not putting in a Dave and Buster's kind of a situation here. So I think upgrading some of these facilities seems pretty normal.
The only renovation Biden did was to the White House Situation Room.
Oh, shut that guy the hell up. All right. Hey, gang. Let's get your Tone Tip app ready. Big Tone Tip day today. Got 8 stories that we're going to cover, and we got a tone tip for each of them. Hey to One Naturist, thanks for joining on Instagram. Download the Tone Tip app. You still got time to do it. Go to tonetip.com before I get to everything. Was going really well. I know it's like I have an excuse every day, but about 30 minutes ago, we lost electric. And some of the tones tips that I was doing got lost because they didn't save right away or whatever. Oh, here we go. Mastiff Sports, trying to get on there again. All right. It says we're online. Forward radio. Reconnecting. Almost finished getting everything. I just wish I could just hit one switch like I could have on Restream. and so many other. Oh, Mastiff Sports gets lost again. Rumble. Reconnect. There we go. We're on Rumble. What's next? Radio. Oh, that one's no. Right Talk Radio. That's the Facebook page. I might already be broadcasting to that on the other one. That's fine. Public. I think I figured out what was wrong with my public. My public Facebook page. I might not have had it directed to go to that page. I might have. That's why it wasn't going live. And finally, Facebook Rainbow Radio page. We're there. And a permission issue there as well. I think I might be on the other one. That's fine too. Let's see quick. Right Talk Radio. And up the middle, Forward Radio. Up the middle radio and Forward Radio. There's only 2 Facebooks over there. Right Talk Radio or not to, because we're trying to go over here. I got to work on that then. All right, gang. Let's turn the camera on, because that would be good. And let's get on over there on Discord. I might just start doing audio only, even though I can do video. And the reason for that is right now, it might be chewing up my CP usage. Phone lines are open. 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY LGBT. Let's see if you can even see me yet. Do studio mode here for a minute. Came on with background. Looks good. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And then get the flag on the... I have this shield that I put on my mic that hopefully is going to drown out some of the noise from the fans. What was that one? I got a thing from yesterday up there still. Cam one with background. We got to change this one. Let's see. What's in the news? Trump may not use Alien Enemies Act courts. Paul Renner. Renner running for wrong four. Oh. $11 killed by U.S. military in Caribbean. Chicagoans say, let's do, just say no to Trump. Trump health questioned. Protesters demand HIV funds. All right, there they are. Those are the headlines. That's what we're going to talk about today. How much space do we got? That looks good. And then here comes the rest of it. All right, let's do a show. What the hell? Don't forget to bookmark Mastiff Media, because eventually I'm going to say something. We'll report on some story accurately, like I did on LinkedIn. That got my ass kicked off. It's this thing. It's called the truth. And these Bible thumpers got to remember that it will set you free. Am I still live over there? Yes. Okay. I'm rearranging some of my desktop here. There's some certain things I just need to glance at. And the former, which is going to go away altogether eventually, the Restream profile is going to go away, permanently soon enough. And so I don't really need to see it now. I can kind of get used to not seeing it. Discord's live. Shout out to Ken. And anybody else? Busy day. Lots to talk about. Kind of settled down now. Back into my thing. Some of the audio, you'll be hearing that there. Check. Okay, that's going. Don't forget, if you are looking for audio only, you can get us on Yerg's Radio. Just go to mastiff.media and you'll find our stations. You can also go to our affiliates and get Dare Media Network or Dare Media Group and get their network. We're on there. Every station there except one on Friday, I think. We'll get something else on Fridays. It's only a weekly show, but I'm like, bring that in. And I'm struggling Fridays anyway because I think everybody's kind of done with politics by then and just ready for a weekend. But if you need audio only, broadcast to our Twitter handle, page, channel, what the hell ever. Yerg's up middle. They limit the number of characters that you can have on your handle. We do the video there. Right now that's going from Restream. But you can switch over right aside of it. The come up simultaneously is the feature, which is audio only. And I've just figured out to check the audio every day before I go on the air, because apparently the browser that I use is a default into one of the other channels on the board, and it's a pain in the balls. Anyway, so many different options, so many different ways for you to call in. You can call in via the Twitter Spaces. You can join there. I'll see that you're there. I guess there's a hand raising thing or whatever if you'd like to speak. And I'll acknowledge you. If you don't say anything stupid, you can talk. If you become an ass, out you go. You can also call us. Those numbers are floating across the screen up at the top. Oh, that's bad. Those numbers are floating across the screen at the top. So this is the shield that I just bumped with my hand. This might not be living here very long. And and it muffles sound so that the fans coming from over there don't get to my mic, and there's less background noise. We'll see how it works. I'll see how I sound today. But floating across the screen right now, 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY-LGBT, our 2 toll-free numbers. You can get us on WhatsApp at +1-267-716-1932. And finally, a call for you if you're in Australia, place where we got a very cool audience. That number is 07, here it comes, 4994-3165. I'm going to be nice to you. Don't worry. Just call. Call, we'll talk. No big whoop. For more information, go to mastiff.media. Join the fight against fascism. Send us your news tips to Newz, Newz, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. And like I said, don't forget the bookmark up there, mastiff.media. That way ultimately, you've got a place to find us if it's only via our website. The show is live there every morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, 4 p.m. London, and I forget what the rest are, 11 p.m. Perth. Go to World Time to translate it to where you're at in the world. Bookmark that, like, subscribe, share. We thank you for joining us. Hey, I got all that done, and it's not 11:30 yet. That's good. I'm not spending all kinds of time trying to figure out if we're live today. If we're not live, we're not live. I'll find out later. Oh, wow. Superfan Ken, I'm going to send you a list of the different platforms that we're on. And I think I would actually really appreciate if you just kind of randomly run down that list. Oh, speaking of one thing I do need to test today, though. What do I do with my phone? There's an app. There's one thing all these connections that I've been testing. We're on Dare Media. We're on DNR Studios. Forget one. And I know we've been on earlier, but I do want to keep up and just double check. I need to run away from the mic just for a little. I think I left my phone in the kitchen. Yes. One station. I'm sitting here getting ready for today. And I'm sitting here getting ready for today. And I'm going, where the hell? Why isn't my alarm going off reminding me that I got 5 minutes left and whatever amount left and however much left? And I know why. My phone's nowhere near me. Okay. So the one I wanted to check is ZQR. Is that what it is? I think so. It's here in Florida, in Pineland, Florida, on Pine Island. WZQR. Yes, this is the one. And they've got 7 online stations in addition to their FM station. We are not on the FM station. I thought we were going to be, but we're not. We're on just their talk station. If you're on your phone, you can try to get this so it's not on a glare. There we go. There's a big band channel, country, rock, concert hall, gospel. I don't know what this one is. Mordecai Jones composes and performs original music. Okay. Unlike anything you'll find on the radio. He's got a whole channel for himself with these guys. WZQR.FM Mordecai. Rock on, dude. And then the last one on the list is WZQR FM Talks. It's their talk station. That's where we're at. Sport Cat's there. I think he follows us. Now playing. Doesn't say. Yeah. Okay. We're Live 365, which I tested 2 years ago. Back then, and I think their whole thing is automated. Like, I'm one of the few actually live shows that they've got. But they're live because they import my feed. They could and do. I don't know how he does it, but he records one of the shows throughout the week and plays that one on the weekend too. So I'm definitely going to be taking good care of them. WZQR FM, Pineland, Florida. Look them up at WZQR.FM, like .com, .media, WZQR. And they got it. URL, good for emails that I don't think they have, but WZQR FM, WZQR.FM. And there you go. So there's plenty of ways you can get us. You can call in. If you call in and I don't answer, it's because I don't see that you called. Don't get pissed. I might even try back. And that's because where I can have a pretty clear screen. WhatsApp, our toll-free numbers, which is a system that that's a big thing for me today, is to look to see, what I'm going to move to. I looked at this Crescendo. I like this Crescendo, this other company. They're a little pushy. I know what I wanted to do as far as a business model, as far as reselling their service in a white label format, meaning I would be selling you my service and you don't know that it's not really mine. I mean, I would tactfully make that clear how we have awesome IT people in the background and whatever. But the sales rep that I signed up with, and of course, they don't have my payment method yet. And that's probably not going to happen until the end of this week. Because I'm going to look at 5 other companies. And I was going to just go with them. And then the sales rep kind of got pushy with me reselling underneath her. And the way I understood that format is that I find you a small business of any sort, or larger business for that matter, and sell you phone service. The first level is just a referral, and I get paid, 3 times whatever their amount was that they signed on for. But then I'm done. That's not what I'm doing. I'm adding this as a new service to Mastiff Media. And I made that clear. I wanted her to tell me about the white label program. And she kept pushing and started using words like big money and all this other shit. Yeah, it's shit for her because I'm selling for her and she gets the commission. That's not what I'm doing. And I said that from day one. So I'm a little pissed, actually, that they're doing some sort of hard sell and taking care of me by directing me in whatever way they see fit. And then I get a call. I've actually got scheduled for this afternoon. I get a call from this other lady who's for the partner program, which is what I thought I wanted. Turns out it's not really what I wanted. A partner program is a step up from the referral program. I'm still just giving referrals. That's it. But at least on this one, I get it's residual. I get continued commission, and I don't have to do anything, which sounds good. But here, I'm still selling Crescendo, not a Yerger Group company, not from Mastiff Media. So it's better terms, but I think on this one, I have to have like 10 users or more. And she's trying to tell me that if you have like the single user, they don't know what they're doing, and they're going to come with all kinds of questions that I'm not going to be able to answer. And I'm like, no, you don't know the people that I'm dealing with. You don't know how tech savvy they are or are not. Or for that matter, really how tech savvy I am. But if I do the white label, I got to pause every time I say white label because I want to say whitewashing, which is what DeSantis is doing down here in Florida. We'll talk about that today too. I want to do the white label aspect because I want to be able to sell it as mine, as my product. Well, first of all, I've got to believe in it to sell it. And I don't know that that's Crescendo took a slide down. I get that their user interface is easy. That's why I'm making the switch in the first place. Because 3CX is, Jesus Christ, to do all the changes that I need to do to be able to switch the board over to the telephone lines over to SportCat. We haven't figured that out. And when what was shown to me by my sales rep from Seamless Communications, he's good. He's a good guy. He knows his stuff. But this is so complicated, he can't even figure it out. And he spent his career in telecommunications. Checking my email kicks my ass. And that's why I needed this to be a simple, user-friendly interface. I need the dashboard or the interface or whatever you want to call it to be able to sit down, figure it out, make a phone call if I need to, whatever. So anyway, part of my day and evening tonight is going to be reviewing other white label programs out there, presuming that, as seems to be the case, if I decide to not go white label, but go to some partner referral program, then I'll be able to make that move. And maybe this is something I start with, is that referral program. And that I'm okay with. But then we're going to put up front what it looks like when I make the jump to white label. Who is my area rep then? Because this Karen, literally that's her name. I know what you're all thinking there. Karen is my rep, my boss of sorts. It's who I would be referring to with this partner program. With the referral program, I go to the lady that already kind of sort of signed me into a contract, which, by the way, is 36 months. This ain't a car loan. And so that's why they don't have billing information yet, because I'm not fully in yet. And some of the things that were supposed to be on there were not on the most recent. So until that gets straightened out, we really don't have a deal with Crescendo. And I hope they're listening, because I want to get it straightened out. And if they are the company to go with, I want to get going. But right now, I'm not impressed. You know, just because the user interface sounds good or works well, doesn't mean that it's right for me. Okay. Show's running. bitch session is over. Let's get going. First up, big news is, I don't remember which one I would like to do. I think it's this one. There we go. Trump cannot use the Alien Enemies Act to deport members of the Venezuelan gang. This is according to the appeals court, and this comes to us from the Associated Press. On Tuesday, federal appeals court ruled that President Donald Trump cannot use the 18th century wartime law to speed the deportations of people his administration accuses of membership in a Venezuelan gang, blocking a signature administration push that is destined for a final showdown at the U.S. Supreme Court. All right, so a little bit of backstory on that so far. He is using this Alien Enemies Act to deport people. Remember when he said he's going after the violent ones, violent criminals, the rapists, the murderers? They're all rapists and murderers. Well, actually, no, they're not. And in fact, the large percentage, I don't know what the actual number is, but a large percentage of the people he's deported have no criminal record whatsoever. The only thing that they've got against them is that they might be here. I say might be here illegally. I'll talk to you about that in a second. But that they might be here illegally. That's actually, did you know this? That's actually a civil issue. It's not a criminal one. So is it not against the law to be here illegally? But it's a civil court issue, which was why ICE couldn't touch them. The people who bring that court issue, the people who bring that complaint, is the Justice Department. So the Justice Department civil attorneys went to the courts asking for these cases to be dismissed so that there was nothing any further pending. It was at that point they were taken into custody, usually at their hearing, and deported. Still with no to little due process. I promise you, there's something like 200,000 people have been deported already. That's a couple small cities. Reading, back where I'm from, usually had a population of about 50,000. That's 4 Reading, Pennsylvanias. That's our county seat. So these people didn't get due process, which, by the way, is what's called habeas corpus, Christy Noam. And the fact that the government has to provide that. They have to provide the establishment and the recognition of rights. They have to establish and provide legal counsel, a speedy trial, court proceedings at all. These people were just kicked out. And now it's been ruled he can't do it in the first place. One of the other things I said from the very beginning, I said there's no way that was put in for the Civil War and also, I believe, the Spanish-American War. But also, when it says, I forget what the exact words are, but something like invading force, he tried to say that the vast number of people coming over the border, which happens in every presidency, he tried to say that this vast number was an invading force. This is part of the bullshit that this administration pushes. It's okay, be a racist, fine. Hate all fucking Mexicans, fine. Be an asshole, but be a legal asshole. Why do you want to get yourself in trouble? By supporting this guy who is knowingly, don't tell me he doesn't know. Don't tell me Stephen Miller is telling him to do this and isn't articulating all this shit in a backdoor manner because he can't go up the front door. That's why. He knows this is illegal. So the 3-panel judge of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, one of the most, this is another thing. One of the most conservative federal appeals courts in the country, agreed with immigrant rights lawyers and lower court judges who argued the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 was not intended to be used against gangs like Tren de Aragua. I used to pronounce it okay. So the thing that screws me up about that, do you see it's covered up. Hold on. This part right here, the name, the D and E together, like side by side. In French, with the foreign language that I learned, would not be DE space ARAGUA. It would be D apostrophe ARAGUA. But here it's actually still 2 words. So here's me trying to learn Spanish, gang. Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan group Trump targeted in his March invocation. So here's the other thing about the whole being a member of a gang thing. So what? So what? It's not illegal. Did you know that? You can be a member of the Mongols, the Hells Angels, the Bloods, the Crips, the Mafia. All of that is legal. The activities known to be done by these groups are not. But there's no guilty by association. You have to have committed a criminal act to be charged with it, with the exception of something like, RICO, but you still have to. RICO is like criminal conspiracy in that criminal conspiracy is the discussion and the planning of a crime. And if I discussed with you the committing of a crime, and I now know about it, and I maybe even gave you some ideas, or I said that I was going to be there, anything like that, I am helping to further the criminal act of whatever it is you're about to do. Let's say it's something big time like murder. I too am now guilty of murder if you succeed in the murder. Why? Because I helped you to plan that homicide. That is criminal conspiracy. RICO is the corrupt organizations, racketeering and influence corrupt organizations. Racketeering is the structure, very similar to criminal conspiracy. But in this time, if I gave you the order to do that hit and to murder someone, but I am secured because it's a whisper down the lane thing that gives me, at least in my mind, what the president would call, because they do the same thing with him, what the president would call plausible deniability. What? 11 people were killed off a boat off the coast of Venezuela? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, the president wasn't there. Maybe he didn't tell the Navy or whoever it was. I'm presuming Navy. It just said military. We'll find out later. Maybe he did not tell them to do that strike. Because of that distance, that's plausible deniability. When you can prove that whisper down the lane chain exists, that's racketeering. And that's RICO. None of that comes solely because you're a member of that group. You still have to take part. If the government discovers that some mobsters acted outside of the orders of the boss, they have to disclose that. And in fact, the boss's defense would also prove that, thereby making his existence within that mafia crime family a legal one, provided that he doesn't get busted for something else. And I say he because the mafia is still a very male-oriented group. Some of these aren't. Most of them are. But some have some crime families and other organizations have gone cross-ethnicity, cross-race. There are black members inside predominantly white motorcycle gangs. And there are, I don't want to say patched because that's specific to motorcycle gangs, but there are full-fledged membership females in some of these gangs as well. Okay. So that was shot down. Lee Gellerant, who argued the case for the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, said Tuesday the Trump administration's use of a wartime statute during a peacetime to regulate immigration was rightly shut down by the court. This is a critically important decision, reining in the administration's view that it can simply declare an emergency without any oversight by the courts. Yeah, I said that. And by the way, let me unfuck myself here. Where's it at? I don't know why I saved it because it's recent. Yeah. God, my ears ring sometime, and it sounds like I'm doing one of these damn tone tips. Let's rename this folder to today's 50903, right? Yep. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my show notes, tone tips, everything in there. So turn on, I'm going to try this. My God, people stop texting me. I'm on a show here. Maybe that was for the show. My audio is really low. Okay, where are you listening? It was for the show. Cool. All right. What platform? Good to know. Thanks for sending that. I think it's. Oh, look at that. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Maybe it was because I was away and not Facebook. Okay, which page? Because that's a difference too. There's one that's going to coming from Media CP. The other one is some of the others are coming from Restream. So I might have to slide around and see what some of the levels are. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Checking 1 2. Any of that sounding better? That is, I see that over on that one. Like, I'm wondering if there's something that's limiting me. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. I could hear you clear as day when you were still setting up. But when you switched to the news, it went really low. Okay, so it's that input. It's this input. Yeah, I see that. But that's all maxed out. I don't understand why that's. Let me see if I can. Check 1 2. Oh, that's a little bit more, huh? How's this? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but some of the. I first thought it's me going deaf and all, allergies clogging my ears. Much better. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, bud. What's your name? For those of you trying to figure out who the hell I'm talking to, I'm dealing with some text messages from WhatsApp. From, let's see, 913 area code. What's your name, dude? Thanks for your help. Petra, welcome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for playing Sound Guy. Joining on Facebook. You're not going deaf. I'm still dealing. So there's been a new system. Met me over on Travis's show. Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks for jumping over here. Yeah, The Point. Travis Evans every Tuesday night at 8. Last night we got through everything kind of quick. It's not on like a schedule where there's like, I got to fill 2 hours today. He's just on Facebook and some of the other platforms, I guess. We're talking about moving him over to Yerg's Radio. So I got to actually reach out to him and have that conversation a little more, because we're also looking to help our friends down in Australia fill with their new station, Dare Talk Radio. Okay, so where was I here? Tren de Agua, the Venezuelan group. Just being a part of any of these groups is not illegal. That's a First Amendment right. We've talked about that before. The 4 elements of the First Amendment that make the 5th element of the First Amendment, all 5, and I'll show you what that is. Petra is joining from Germany right now, so the time difference has made joining impossible. So it's like what, 5 or 6 o'clock there, almost 6 or 7. Remember, worldtimebuddy.com. It's on my other one. Let me find it here. Is that over? Yep. There we go. That's this one. So if you're in Berlin right now, it is almost 6 o'clock or 1800 hours. Yeah. This thing's great. Go to worldtimebuddy.com. And it's easy to talk about, easy user interfaces. So yeah, I've been saying it from the beginning. He's reaching. He's trying to articulate just to be a racist pig. That's it. I don't sugarcoat here. And, if that makes your pussy hurt because you're a fan, well, I was a little upset when Joe Biden started showing his age. And, it is what it is. We have to realize that some of these aren't going to go as well as what we like. So, there's that one. Coming up next, Paul Renner. Let's take a look at who this dude is. I like him already. He's going up against oh, wait a minute. What? I'm a pro-Trump, pro-DeSantis Republican through and through. said Renner. Oh, fuck. So I like this guy because when I read the Politico headline, Paul Renner enters Florida governor's race, taking on Trump-backed Byron Donalds. I think, okay, great. We got somebody who's not Trump-backed getting rid of these fucking MAGA assholes. And here's this guy. Former Florida House Speaker Paul Renner is running for governor, becoming the first prominent Republican to challenge President Donald Trump's endorsed pick, Rep. Byron Donald. I call Uncle Byron because he's a black man who is basically the white man's bitch. He is endorsing all of these anti-black, anti-brown, anti-immigrant, anti-poor people, anti-whatever you want policies that Trump puts out. I'm like, dude, mirror, look in the mirror, see who you're screwing. Renner filed the paperwork to run Wednesday morning. It's his first bid for statewide office, where he'll face not just a Trump-endorsed opponent, but a major campaign operation. Donalds has brought on many of the same players who helped orchestrate Trump's comeback to the White House and has already amassed $22 million war chest, as well as key endorsements from House colleagues. But Renner, 58, is betting that his record in Florida can deliver a winning message. He said during a Tuesday morning interview that as a father, he decided to run after thinking about the Florida's future might look like when Governor Ron DeSantis leaves after 2 terms. At the end of the day, voters are going to ask several questions. Who do we trust? Who has a leadership experience that qualifies him to sit in the governor's desk? Who's delivering results? Who built the Florida we love and who can solve the problems that remain? Well, that sounds good, but what people think of as Florida, what they're proud of, I was one of the architects of that. You're also part of the problem, dude, because erasing painted crosswalks, that's the issue. Renner continued referring to his time leading the state house. If you're looking at how we predict who will deliver results in the future, you look at who's already delivered results in the past. Oh, how much did you pay for that statement? That sounds definitely like a political coach. Renner said he planned to call Donalds ahead of filing the paperwork to run. The two have faced off before. They were among 4 candidates who ran for State House Speaker in 2017. Renner won support from his colleagues, putting him in line to lead the state's lower chamber, which he did from 2022 to 2024. Donalds went on to run for Congress, where he has worked since 2021. Much has changed in the year since Renner and Donalds served in the legislature together. While Donalds spent much time in 2024 cycle on the campaign trail with Trump, helping to outreach to black voters. He has had a long runway to mount his gubernatorial campaign. He announced his plans in February for a primary that isn't taking place until August 2026. And he's already spent months courting grassroots voters statewide. Byron Donalds will be Florida's next governor because he is the proven conservative fighter endorsed by President Trump, said Ryan Smith, the Donalds campaign chief strategist, in response to the Renner campaign announcement. But Donalds has not earned DeSantis' support, while Renner was a close partner of the governor's as he became a leading conservative executive. DeSantis hasn't said who he'll support to succeed him, though he recently appointed former Green Beret and decorated military veteran Jay Collins as lieutenant governor, someone who may also enter the gubernatorial race. The governor has made it clear he doesn't think Donalds has the conservative track record, to build on his legacy. Renner will face a delicate balance of trying to defeat Donalds for the GOP nomination while also showing he supports the president. He said he would welcome backing from either DeSantis or Trump, and that if elected, Trump could count on a great partner in me. Shit. President Trump is the great... Oh, my God. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. President Trump is the greatest president in my lifetime. And we've also got the greatest governor in the nation. Oh, my God. Gavin Newsom kicked his ass. Did you miss that debate? That wasn't even close. Oh. I'm a pro-Trump, pro-DeSantis Republican through and through. Okay, that's enough. I got 6 more stories to go. I don't need a heart attack. Jesus Christ. I think I'm going to run for governor. That's a long-ass link you sent me there, Petra. DeSantis is Florida's own Berlusconi. Yeah, that I can see. Berlusconi, for those of you that don't know, was also somebody with not the best rap. But I got to give you guys these tone tips too. Alabama had Tuberville. Yeah. Did he really? I just saw Petra's telling me that Alabama's Tommy Tuberville is a former football coach and U.S. senator, and threw his hat in for governor. Some states require that you leave your seat, because that's one of the things that happened to Matt Gaetz. He had to step down to take other positions. And then he wasn't confirmed. So now he left his spot in Congress. And he also didn't get the job that he left Congress for. So that would be so cool if Donalds, Tuberville, all these guys step down so that they can run for governor and then lose. Hell yes. He's says fucker can't do anything else aside from wheeling and dealing. Yeah, that's all of them. And they can only really do that among friends, because you don't see these guys reach across the aisle. Tuberville was in the Oval Office the other day when Trump made the announcement that Space Force headquarters is going to Huntsville, Alabama, which is Tuberville's. And also, it's right above me. It's that photo right there. The lady in the red dress, she is the one, she's the junior senator from Alabama. Katie something, I think. She is the one that gave that really pathetic rebuttal to one of President Biden's State of the Union addresses. We see you. We hear you. From her kitchen. Like she's ever been in a kitchen. Oh, God, these people are so fucking fake. I mean, it's really sad. The people that buy into this shit. And I'm not like some bleeding heart libtard liberal. I also have conservative beliefs, but they're practical ones. All right. Well, I got some tone tips to get you caught up on. From the Alien Enemies Act. Here it comes. Or not. There we go. I should be testing this. So, Scotty from Dare Media put this long, like 3-minute promo together. And it was really cool. We did a really nice job. And my show's in there, Sportcat's in there, Katie and Jamie are in there. Everything. Scott and Jai, David Beckmeyer, who actually is now directly with them, which is cool. I'm going to put that in. I didn't hear that. Usually I hear the 14 decibel one. Let me see what's the volume's already up. So awesome. All right, let's see if this thing registers. So tone tip from the Alien Enemies Act. Here it comes again. One of them anyway. And then on 19, so neither of those are registering on my, I'm going to try to do from the actual speakers. That Katie Britt? Yeah, that's the one. Katie Britt. Yeah. Are you shitting me? Technically, Tuberville does not even live in Alabama. His wife owns a house there. Where the fuck is his residence? And don't say DC either. All right, I'm going to mute because the headphones aren't working, and that's happened before. So I'm going to mute my mic and play these again. He's in Florida. Shocker. I forgot I muted my mic just 2 seconds ago. So I'm trying to reach out to Ken over on Discord if he hears me. Let me know if you actually downloaded the Tone Tip app yet. And if you haven't, why not? But I'm going to send the ones from Renner for governor as well. But I'm using my speakers to test it. So I'm going to mute my mic. Yeah, I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to tell him I did 8 tone tips, 16 actually, 2 for each article and each of the possible frequencies, and it ain't working. Best president in my lifetime. You are such a suck ass. 1. You're such a fucking moron, 2. I can't believe you actually believe that. And these guys do believe it. It's not like they're saying it. At least Alex Jones admitted that it was bullshit. Whatever Alex Jones is doing is bullshit. It's sad, man. It's really, I'm floored that Jesus Christ, stop calling me, people. Oh, I do got to pay a bill though, so that one's kind of. My dad called me at 25 after I was in the middle of dealing with a. We've had Geek Squad. We haven't had Geek Squad in years. I should probably just delete it. But I'll get back to him too. That's from Concealed Carry Association. So apparently Donald Trump is now, a friend of mine from DC just sent me an alert that Donald Trump is saying the crime is down 100%. Fine. Let the military go. We're good. The other thing I don't understand about, like he's still talking about, he said yesterday, he doesn't know when he's going to send the military into Chicago. Well, if crime is so bad, shouldn't you send it now? What are we waiting for? More people to die? Stop creating these issues. Similar to the story with Renner running for governor, the Broward County Democrats say that Florida is in a crisis. Now I'm getting a call from here. What's up, man? Ken, can you hear me? Nope. Let's try it again. Why does it say I missed that call when I answered it? So much of my shit's going really slow now all of a sudden, too. I'm going to get rid of the phone system and turn it back on. Maybe a quick reboot. And now it's not even coming up at all. Awesome. Ken, if you're listening, I'm trying to call you back, but I can't even get my phone, the browser to start. Yeah, this is going real slow. This is going bad. Yeah. Chill out. Ken, I'll call you back. Superfan Ken trying to call, check in, and the browser that operates the phone system. Another issue. Don't get me started. All right, so Florida in a crisis, according to the Broward County Democrats, as they sound the alarm about Trump and DeSantis and their policies. Let's see if this goes. Let's listen to the article.
Florida's in a crisis. Broward Democrats sound alarm about Trump, DeSantis policies. Degrade hurricane forecasts. Undetected HIV infections because of reduced testing. Seniors on the phone for hours waiting for Social Security to answer. Children without enough food. And dirtier planes and longer waits for bags at the airport. Those developments, some calamitous, some merely frustrating, are coming or are already here, a range of Broward elected officials said Friday as they offered their assessments of impacts from a range of policy initiatives and budgetary moves implemented by President Donald Trump and Governor Ron DeSantis. In addition, federal, state and local Democrats warned, the overall direction of the country is alarming. The terms fascist and authoritarian came up more than once at a public briefing convened by U.S. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Democrat who represents southern and western Broward. Wasserman Schultz, as a member of Congress, focused primarily on the federal level. What the administration is doing intentionally is throwing up distractions in order to make people pay attention to shiny objects to call their attention away from the fact that they are literally eroding our institutions intentionally. State Representative Darrell Campbell, a Broward Democrat, also said it's difficult for people to keep perspective on what is important. They try to distract us with clickbait debates over DEI and renaming the Gulf of Mexico, he said. Florida's in a crisis. A housing crisis. A healthcare crisis. A crisis of affordability. And that is a result of deliberate choices by Republicans in the legislature, he said, lamenting decisions that give away billions of dollars in corporate tax cuts while people struggle to pay rent. They and 4 other Democratic elected officials heard from several panels of witnesses, most representing different constituencies, who said their members, or the general public, were negatively affected by policies emanating from Washington, D.C. Hunger. Paco Velez, president and CEO of Feeding South Florida, said some of the money his organization has been receiving to provide food for people has been cut and more cuts are coming, meaning more people will go hungry. State Representative Robin Bartleman, D. Weston, a former teacher and school board member, said the state has turned down federal summer feeding program money for 2 years, depriving children of meals during the summer when school is not in session. HIV testing. Robert Boo, CEO of the Pride Center, an LGBTQ+ community center in Wilton Manors, said an HIV testing grant has lapsed and he doesn't know if it will be removed. That means more people in Broward, an epicenter of new HIV infections, won't learn about their status. A majority of the people tested at the Pride Center are straight, Boo said. Boo said he's already eliminated 3 of the center's 30 jobs, with more staff reductions possible. Boo said people of trans experience are being particularly affected by the current political environment. One grant program the center has participated in was renamed to remove the T from its LGBT name. Related articles. DeSantis' attack on this Florida congressional district could have sweeping implications. DeSantis defends state removal of LGBTQ and other community crosswalks, declares cities must comply. DeSantis targets Florida congressional districts. Seeks changes that could aid Republicans. Did the president drop an F-bomb? Yes, and Democrats are doing it too. Venal depravity. Countering Trump, South Florida Democrats decry budget-cutting plans. Hurricanes. Frank Marks, retired director of the Hurricane Research Division at the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration's Atlantic Oceanographic Meteorological Laboratory, said cuts at the agency will hurt future forecasting ability. He said young researchers are among those leaving. He said the organization he used to lead has lost about 30% of its staff, including young scientists. These are the best and the brightest, he said. Their loss cannot be overcome by gadgets, technology, and airplanes. We're eating our seed corn for probably the next 20 or 25 years, he said. Broward Mayor Beam Fur decried the decimation of expertise Marks described. He said Broward County is cutting positions, not people in its next budget, but is retaining subject matter experts. Horrified about NOAA cuts, Bartleman said Mark's description scares the hell out of me. Immigration. Wendy Walsh, National General Vice President of Unite Here, a union of food service and hotel workers, said dozens of food service and retail workers at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport are losing their work authorization because the Trump administration is ending programs allowing hundreds of thousands of immigrants to legally work in the country. Helene O'Brien, Florida director of SEIU 32BJ, which represents many service workers, said de-documenting of immigrant workers will wreak havoc on families and result in deterioration of services and jobs that many Americans want do when the immigrant workers can't perform them. O'Brien said people will see the effects, with things like dirtier airplanes and longer waits to get their bags as people doing cleaning and baggage work lose their work authorization and people don't come forward to replace them. Though an official gathering, it was Democratic in outlook, with U.S. Representative Sheila Cherfilus McCormick and State Representative Marie Woodson also participating. About 150 people were on hand at the beginning. After about 2.5 hours, some 50 remained. Broward Republican Party Chairman Chris Marino said later via text the Democrats are ignoring something fundamental. Floridians have repeatedly voted for Trump and DeSantis. Boy, it's gotta be rough for Democrats to look themselves in the mirror, then go out and keep pushing the same narrative that the American public clearly rejects and see through, Marino said. The Republican Party is the home for wayward Democrats that feel they are no longer represented, and we welcome them with open arms and no judgment, while those remaining as Democrats are the small percentage that either choose to accept socialism or refuse to use common sense that would allow them to be pleased with the proven results of Republican policies virtually everywhere, he said. Bartleman said she had grave concerns if the country doesn't come together and reject extremes on the left and the right. Just back from a trip to Israel, Bartleman said what she sees happening at home today became more vivid when she visited Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem. When they start talking about history and what Hitler did. He was removing books, Bartleman said. And then it was vilifying one group of people enough to rally a whole country to say we're gonna move Jewish people to ghettos, after the books. I went through that museum, I saw the parallels of what's happening here, Bartleman said. Though she had plenty of issues on which she finds fault with both Trump and DeSantis, Bartleman said the extremes from both sides need to be reeled in. Once we lose this democracy, we're not going to get it back, she said. Everyone in the middle, let's preserve the United States of America. Let's fight against the extremes, she said, adding she is scared to death about the future of our country. Campbell was more optimistic. You may feel defeated, you may feel hopeless, he said. You still have a voice. You still have a mission, and everybody's mission is stopping what we're seeing is going on in Tallahassee, what we're seeing is going on in D.C. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, we're gonna get out. Political writer Anthony Mann can be reached at amon@sunsentinel.com and can be found at Broward Politics on Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, and Mastodon.
All right. That actually sounded pretty good.
These two stunning lizards are gaining ground in South Florida.
All right, well.
One runs on water, the other is a flamboyant redhead.
We can talk about lizards later. I also used that time to drain my own lizard, so that worked out well. All right, up next. 11 dead in the Caribbean. This is according to Fox News, AP, and some other outlets. Let's listen to this one. I'm kind of liking this.
Video shows U.S. military blasting drug boat, killing 11 suspected Venezuelan trend Aragua narco-terrorists. President Donald Trump shared dramatic video Tuesday of a U.S. military strike that blew apart a Venezuelan drug boat in the southern Caribbean, leaving nearly a dozen suspected trend Aragua, TDA, narco-terrorists dead. Over the last few minutes, we literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, Trump said during a news conference in the Oval Office. A lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago.
Yeah, I was watching when he said that. And the first thing I'm thinking about, he said that there were a lot of drugs in the boat, and now we know, or at least we think we know. I mean, maybe if they answer my question, they're going to realize maybe they don't know. But they said that there were 11 killed. How do we know that? Did we go get the boat? Did we watch them board the boat? So basically, you're engaging in entrapment on the high seas. That's piracy. And yeah, I know they're bad guys. We know the Tren de Agua guys are bad guys, but that doesn't make them illegal. and they just go out and kill these people. What happened to the law and order president? I guess it doesn't matter if you're white. I guess we want these people dead. And that's what's pathetic about this. Yeah, Petra's asking, how can the U.S. just kill? Because there's nobody stopping him. The Republicans in Congress have a limp dick. They're ballless. Democrats are useless and helpless at the same time. Who's going to stop him? And even Vice President Guyliner, dude, even commented that the Supreme Court can come down with an order and a ruling. Let them enforce it. Really? That's what you want coming from your vice president? That's not okay. I don't care if that's what you want coming from your vice president. That's not okay. Andrew Jackson said the same thing back in the 1830s, I think, with regards to some move that he did. And bit him in the ass.
President later shared a video of the strike on Truth Social, confirming the blast occurred in the Southcom area of responsibility, while the terrorists were in international waters transporting illegal narcotics to the U.S. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action, Trump wrote in the Post.
So you think. What happens when you find a teddy bear that belonged to one of those 11 terrorists that was actually a child?
No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed it.
That is a tweet sent by the President of the United States. Boy, doesn't he just look presidential. He's tweeting. I love that it was actually on Truth Social, because even with being, Elon Musk's buddy, he was never able to get back on Twitter. So I love that he uses Truth Social, which I haven't seen a truth on yet. But anyway. Oh, there we go.
In an X post, the hit was a lethal strike. As POTUS just announced moments ago, today the U.S. military conducted a lethal strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela, Rubio wrote in the Post. A senior defense official told Fox News the attack was a precision strike. Trump said many drug boats are coming out of the country, noting they took it out. TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere, he wrote in the X post. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has not yet publicly commented on the strike. Fox News' Emily Sasha contributed to this report.
All right. Well, there's another audio one. I like that. Associated Press had the same story. I'm not going to try with any more of the tone tips. I know they're not working. So Petra says, yeah, if they found a teddy bear, they'd claim that the bad guys held the kid hostage. Yeah, I'm sure there's some pathetic workaround. There we see Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, barely awake. Yeah, this is kind of the same story. I was going to send this because of another link, to corroborate the bullshit that Fox usually puts out. but it really just says Trump's post. It doesn't really give us known facts. It doesn't say how we know 11 people were killed. Do we have the bodies? How do we know 11 people were killed? Did we count them as we watched them board the vessel? Did we see what we think were all of them dancing naked out in the bow? How do we know? The video, which largely black and white, is not clear enough to see if the craft is carrying as many as 11 people. The video also did not show any large or clear stashes of drugs inside the boat. Dope! Tren de Aragua originated more than a decade ago at an infamously lawless prison with hardened criminals in Venezuela's central state of Aragua. The gang has expanded in recent years as more than 7.7 million Venezuelans fled economic turmoil and migrated to other Latin American countries or the U.S. Trump administration officials have repeatedly blamed the gang for being at the root of the violence and illicit drug dealing that plague some cities. And the president on Tuesday repeated his claim, contradicted by the declassified U.S. intelligence assessment, that Tren de Aragua is operating under Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. He does this. He says bullshit. And because his followers are sheep and don't have a brain nor the capability of thinking for themselves, they buy it. And it's an easy excuse for them to continue their own racist policy and belief structure. Think for yourself, people. I'm telling you. Don't believe me. Let me turn my camera back on so you can see me say this. Don't believe me. There, I'll cover the story. I'm covering a story. Get it? Don't believe me. Don't take what I say here as gospel. Take what I say. Let this be your starting point for you to do your own homework. Think for yourself. Be like the U.S. intelligence community that takes a look at both CNBC or MSNBC and News Nation, or one of the farther right than Fox, and then looks at CNN and Fox. Look at both sides of the political spectrum. Look at multiple sources for a story. And get verified information. Don't listen to Trump. Don't just listen to Gavin Newsom. I've met Gavin. He's a smart guy, and I think his heart's in the right place. But don't put it past him to have skewed or misleading stats. It's what they all do for a reason. They're trying to prove a point. The best thing that you can do, exactly what I was taught in the police academies that I attended. A friend of mine, when I first got started in any sort of broadcasting, started with Facebook fights. He said, stop investigating to prove your point. Investigate to find the truth. And I'm proud to say that as a police officer and a federal agent, I've always done that. Facebook fights originally, not so much. Now, I'm pulling my hair out because I can't get the Trump people to do it. Don't be afraid to change your mind. Don't be afraid to learn something that you didn't know. But be afraid of people who are just following people like Trump blindly. I know. I put my life on the line for that man and his kids. And I promise you, none of them appreciate it. George W. and his family, absolutely. Clinton, Obama, Biden, absolutely. Trump's, nah. they could care. Oh, they talk a good game. But remember, we see these people behind closed doors. All right, on to Chicago. Chicago. Maybe. Yeah, I think what's happening is the broadcast that I'm doing uses so much of my CP. That takes a while to come up. This is another video, and I want to hear what these people have to say. One person says, I would feel more worried. Now, to be clear about something, I don't know for sure that they all are anti-Trump, anti-military when it comes to this issue. So let's find out. This is from the BBC, and with regards to the opinions of Chicagoans receiving the National Guard in this big emergency. Whatever.
Do I think the National Guard should be here? Not at all. It's not a good look. It is a black eye to this city.
Like, Chicago is Chicago. Like, it's crime, here and there.
I feel like I would feel more worried about what's going on around me.
There you go.
I've definitely never felt unsafe in this city. I've never been at a point where I feel that we need the National Guard here.
It's a good thing because this is help minimize a lot of the crime that goes on in the neighborhood.
I believe police departments should be able to handle the city.
What the hell did that guy say? It's a good thing. I heard that. And I think I heard neighborhood. But I need to point something else out. What did we hear from? 5 people? Two Philadelphia sports teams represented on the hats. That guy's wearing an Eagles hat, and the one girl was wearing the St. Patty's Day green Phillies hat.
Government.
Any crime in any area, I feel like it's getting out of hand.
I've never been around a Chicago officer and felt that what they were doing was inadequate or not helping us.
I live on the south side, so I can only imagine if they were to come that way, just how much harm that could do to the community.
I think there's a time for the federal government to come in when the local and state governments ask for it.
Help remove that crime. Help stop that killing. We all for that. But just coming out window dressing and acting like the tough guy, we don't have time for that.
Good for you, dude. And they're picking, as far as fighting crime in DC, they're picking up trash around the monuments. Meanwhile, he keeps saying about how there's this violent crime and that violent crime, and now, again, according to a friend of mine, superfan Eric, crime is down 100%. So there's no crime in all of DC. Okay, great. Job well done. Pull them out. Get them out. What are we still sitting there for? What are our tax dollars doing? Did you write any citations for all that littering? No. No citations for littering. Okay, well then maybe we're kind of wasting time, don't you think? Well, some more protesters. Sorry, these are taking so long to load. I got a machine that's built for this, so I think we might have a full hard drive. CPU is only at 16%, according to OBS. Protesters demand release of HIV funds illegally withheld by Trump. People take to the streets against Trump administration plans to rescind funding for life-saving international programs. This according to The Guardian. As Congress reconvened on Tuesday, activists gathered near the White House to protest against cuts to global HIV funding, calling attention to funds they say are being withheld illegally by the Trump administration despite being appropriated by Congress. The end of the fiscal year 2025 is the 30th of September, which means the majority of the withheld federal funds will disappear. The activists called for the release of the funding for programs such as PEPFAR, President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, a program established in 2003 that has saved an estimated 26 million lives around the world and promised to help bring HIV epidemic to an end. Yeah, we know what this guy loves about his epidemics, huh? And pandemics and whatever else. The end of the fiscal year 2025 is the 30th of September, which means the majority of the withheld funds. Oh, sorry, did that one already. My bad. An estimated 450,000 people have died because of the abrupt cuts to the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Millions have paused or ended taking the medications that either keep them from getting HIV or keep the virus from progressing and becoming infectious again. The funding is there. The global health programs have been shuttered. Congress has funded them. But OMB is not permitting it to be sent. They're impounding those funds, said Atul Gawande, a former assistant administrator for global health at USAID who spoke at the protest. That is not legal. The activists marched to the office of the General Services Administration wearing masks and holding signs depicting the face of Russell Vogt, the head of the Office of Management and Budget. They blocked traffic by sitting in line in the intersection outside the building where Vogt works. As horns honked, one man leapt from his car to confront the protester. The protester came at a particularly fraught moment in Washington, D.C., which, for several weeks, has been occupied by local and out-of-state National Guardsmen, as well as federal agents. It's been surreal seeing the National Guard come through the neighborhoods, said Gawande, who lives in D.C. The risks of protest and civil disobedience are heightened because anything could happen. But, he said, it is important to speak out about the illegal withholding of congressionally appropriated funds. In the past, progress on HIV had moved forward because of actions like this. And that's where we are again. The OMB did not respond to the Guardian's questions about how much funding for PEPFAR remained and whether it is legal to impound funds in this way. The administration has not obligated, let alone dispersed, much of the funding that has been appropriated for PEPFAR, said Jen Cates, Senior Vice President and Director for the Global Health and HIV Policy Program at KFF, a nonpartisan health organization. There is a formal process for rescinding funds like this, but OMB has not submitted such a request. In July, Donald Trump submitted a request to rescind $9 billion in funding that Congress had already set aside for foreign aid and broadcasting programs. The request included a $400 million cut to PEPFAR, but while lawmakers agreed to other cuts, they protected PEPFAR. This is the kind of shit he does. They understand the need of this organization. So they said, we're going to fund it. And he just does it anyway. That's not okay. That's not what a president does. Russ Vogt is defying the will of Congress. He's breaking the law, said Asia Russell, executive director at HealthGap and one of the protest organizers, calling the impediments on funds illegal and unprecedented. In places like Kenya, Uganda, and South Africa, people working on PEPFAR programs have been told to cut their budgets by half. Let me just point something out right there. Where are we deporting some of these people to? Uganda. And what is now increasing because of this lack of funding? The HIV virus. Do you think that's a coincidence? Or do you think Trump's just being another day of being a racist fuck? This was their strategy from the beginning. Delay the release of funds until the clock of the fiscal year comes up. It's a bomb, said Russell said. It's happening without any ability to track. Geraldine Hoover, a nurse, worked on PEPFAR for 5 years before she was terminated in sweeping staffing cuts earlier this year. At the protest, she pushed her sleeping daughter in a stroller. The program she worked on supported more than 300,000 global health workers. When many of them lost their jobs overnight, They couldn't bear to think about seeing the members of the communities they supported with HIV treatment for so long. They were forced to watch those same people show up at clinics that were closed or go without their needed medications. We got reports of health workers who committed suicide. Rebecca Dennison, who learned she was HIV positive 42 years ago, attended the protest with her partner. Preventive measures like medications that lower the virus to undetectable levels have meant that her partner has stayed HIV negative for 4 decades. Though they had thought they might never have children, their twins were born healthy 29 years ago. The same preventive measures that kept her partner and children from contacting HIV have now been yanked away from other families. I feel the responsibility to show up for everyone to have the opportunities we've had, Dennison said. The Trump administration reportedly drafted plans to kill PEPFAR entirely. I sincerely believe that they picked foreign aid on purpose as what they thought would be a soft target to try out shredding these norms. Actually, foreign aid is a kitchen table issue. This is not a distraction. This is a real thing, causing real harm. Cates notes that numerous studies have shown that PEPFAR has saved millions of lives and is also associated with significant improvement in broader health and non-health outcomes. Reducing funding in an abrupt way will affect the ability to end HIV and dampen success in other areas. In Mozambique, there has been a decline in testing infants who are exposed to HIV through pregnancy, birth, and breastfeeding. Infants with HIV who cannot get treatment have a 50% chance of dying before their second birthday. In Zimbabwe, HIV mortality may soar. In South Africa, there are declines in diagnosis and new initiations of HIV treatment. In Nairobi, 2 patients died after the doctor orders to stop working during the USAID pause. The patients had optimistic infections because HIV/AIDS when they could no longer receive antibiotics for the infections, they died. The administration continues to deny that dismantling assistance for health and public service systems costs lives, Gawande said. They believe these lives won't matter to anybody. Tell me, will you bear witness? He asked the crowd. Yeah, I mean, what do we need? And I guess this is my question to all of you listening. What do we need for that when this affects you? We all finally, I've been to rallies. I've covered them for my news agency. I've taken part in them. I've bitched. I've yelled just like everybody else. There's far too little. I mean, let's see if I know where this is. This is the guy that gets out of his car. 17th and M. Yeah. That's a little further up, though. It's not far from the White House, but still. All right, one more. Let's see if Sportcat joins us. Yeah, I guess they're still going to use that for him to come on. So Trump had spent so much time questioning his opponent's health, that being crazy Joe Biden. I have no idea who's calling me. That being Sleepy Joe, Crazy Joe, whatever you want to call him. Former President Biden, definitely the better of the two. Now is fighting rumors of his own health. He wasn't seen really over the Labor weekend until supposedly heading out to golf. Now he's dealing with speculation and conspiracy theories about his own health, which exploded over the holiday. Apparently he died over the holiday. That was the rumor. Not true, but some people were praying. I wasn't. I'm not going to wish someone dead, because you don't come back from that. Not even Trump. But I'm anxious for him to leave office. I'll say that. I'm not going to cry if he does die. I'll say that. The online world had its doubts. But yes, Donald Trump is alive. Trump's televised appearance in the Oval Office on Tuesday doubled as proof of life test for the conspiracy-minded after weeks' worth of speculation that he was gravely ill or worse. The topic, #TrumpDead, has been trending on Twitter. Yet there he was, indisputably among the living, and taking swipes at the usual folks. California Governor Gavin Newsom, the fake news, mail-in voting, and crime in Democratic-run cities, which, by the way, more than half of the top 20 most crime-ridden cities are Republican. He even worked in a mention of the once mighty University of Alabama football teams losing to Florida State on Saturday. When did he learn of his demise? A reporter cheekily asked him. Trump, 79, said he had gotten reports that because he hadn't been spotted much in recent days, something was amiss. He hadn't been seen in public from Tuesday afternoon until Saturday morning, following a more than 3-hour on-camera cabinet meeting, the longest of his term. I knew they were saying, is he okay? How is he feeling? What's wrong? I was very active this Labor Day, which included golf outings at his club in Northern Virginia and repeated posts on his social media platform. That's active. Tweeting. Trump may be a victim of his own ubiquity. He is in front of the camera so often that when he's not, people notice and may leap to conclusions that he's ill. Trump has jumped to similar conclusions himself when it comes to political opponents. For years, he was relentlessly cast out on Joe Biden's vitality and mental fitness. Since he returned to office, he has depicted Biden as an infirm puppet of controlling aides who used an auto pen to mask his decline. Have you seen Trump's signature? And who do you think is really running the country right now? It's not Donald Trump. Trump renewed the attack Tuesday, saying, Biden, we know he wasn't in the greatest shape. Feeding the online rumors was a persistent bruise on his back, the back of his right hand, which at times has appeared to be covered in makeup. In February, the White House said the bruise was a result of Trump's constantly working and shaking. This has been there since February? I missed that. In February, the White House said the bruise was the result of Trump's constantly working and shaking hands all day, every day. His doctor wrote in July that Trump takes aspirin as part of a cardiovascular preventive regimen and that bruising is a side effect. As a candidate, Trump benefited from the internet, raising millions online and using social media to spread viral messages. Now, in his second term, he is coping with an online audience that examines every pixel of his photos and is quick to diagnose, informed or not. Wow, that's makeup. I should just wear a glove. Be like Michael Jackson. Trump has faced questions about how transparent he has been about his health. His former physician, Dr. Howard Bornstein, said Trump once dictated a statement describing his health as astonishingly excellent, even though the statement was released under Bornstein's name. In 2019, during a surprise trip to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Trump asked personnel to sign non-disclosure agreements, as he initially declined to talk about the reason for the visit, which was later revealed as a routine colonoscopy. So in other words, he didn't want people to know that a camera went up his ass. His vice president may have also fueled questions about Trump's health. In an interview with USA Today on August 27th, J.D. Vance said he feels very confident the president of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term, and do great things for the American people. Then Vance added, if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of a better on-the-job training than I've gotten over the past 200 days. Though Trump also referred to his mortality August 19th in an interview on Fox, telling the channel, I want to try to get to heaven if possible. I hear I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the bowl. Yeah, that part's true. You got that part right, Donnie. Oh. He reiterated his thoughts about the afterlife in a fundraising appeal over the weekend, as his health drew widespread speculation online. According to search engine data from Google, interest in Trump shot up Friday night and into Saturday morning to levels about 8 times what they were earlier in the week. The top related search topics on Google's in recent days included death, health, and Trump's age, according to the company. On social media sites, including TikTok and Blue Sky, some of the Trump's critics questioned where he was and suggested he might be sick. In this environment, people will seize on whatever seems to confirm what they suspected. I told you, don't investigate to support your argument. Investigate to find the truth. And that's not a great situation for getting accurate information, said Brendan Nyan, a political science professor at Dartmouth University. What we've seen illustrates the way that everyone is vulnerable to misinformation and online rumors. I mean, how do you think he got there in the first place? Was from misinformation and online rumors. Speculation continued Saturday morning when a photographer took a picture of Trump in a golf shirt, heading out of the White House with a grandchild. Online people scrutinized the photo for indications that he might not be well. The next day, Trump posted a photo of himself on Truth Social golfing with former coach John Gruden, who resigned from the Las Vegas Raiders in 2021 after having sent offensive emails, although Trump didn't say when the photo with Gruden was taken. That prompted a fresh round of questions. A White House aide speaking on condition of anonymity confirmed that Trump golfed with Gruden on Sunday. Trump directly addressed his health Sunday on Truth Social, saying, never felt better in my life. You know that's bullshit. On Monday, rumors swirled anew when images on Twitter and elsewhere appeared to show someone throwing a trash bag out of a second-floor window. I got that video. Superfan Eric sent it to me. Seemingly at odds with usual protocol, the videos got millions of views. What happened remains unclear. The White House aide, speaking on condition of anonymity, said a contractor tossed out the bags during regular maintenance at the White House while Trump was away. Asked about the images Tuesday, Trump said the windows are sealed, which would contradict the explanation. He said the video was most likely AI-generated fake. This wasn't the first time the internet throbbed with commentary about Trump's health. In September 2020, Trump... Sorry about that. In September 2020, Trump posted on Truth Social, or on social media rather, a denial that he suffered a series of mini strokes, with anyone having suggested that he had. Without anyone suggested that he had. And in October 2020, a month later, he was diagnosed with COVID-19 in a scare that gripped the government just before the rollout of vaccines. He spent 3 days at Walter Reed. Inside the White House on Tuesday, aides took note of most recent buzz surrounding Trump's health, but didn't seem to believe it amounted to much of anything. The made-up speculation online is crazy and baseless, and it's clearly being pushed by Democrat activists and left-wing lunatics. Oh, Caroline. Not everybody is a left-wing lunatic. Not everybody's out to get you. Some of us are actually telling the truth. President Trump is perfectly fine, even though he's bruised to hell. and has a tremendous amount of energy, even though he looked like he was asleep in the Oval Office yesterday. He has been completely transparent about his health while he wears makeup to cover a bruise, unlike his predecessor, who's fine, enjoying ice cream and playing with the grandkids on the beach. Biden's spokesperson did not lower themselves to this level. All right, let's see who's backstage. I know who's backstage, but let's say hello to him. There we go.
What's up?
Dude, what's happening?
Not much, man. What about you? So
my system is running slow today because I think I got too much.
Oh. Well, close some of that shit. So can those windows open in the White House? I thought they were all sealed.
No, they can open because there's a pretty famous story. George H.W. Bush, some of the guys were posted outside, and it's the middle of the night, but it's for them, it's the middle of their workday. So they got this small radio playing just to keep them awake, having no idea or realization that right up there was the president's bedroom. And he just politely opens the window and says, "Hey, boys, can you keep it down out there?" And they're like, "Oh, shit." Now, are they ballistic? Yes.
Commander-in-Chief.
Are they ballistic? Yes, of course. But don't think that ballistic windows can't be moved. How do you think they got there?
Well, no. I was thinking it was sealed for hazmat reasons, is what I was thinking of.
So
you probably can't say.
Well, I mean, I can tell you there's plenty of that place is like a fortress. So there's that.
As well it should be.
Now, the question is, have those windows been upgraded from George H.W. Bush till now? I'm presuming as much, especially after 9/11. So maybe he's right. Maybe they are now sealed. Good question.
That's what
the
I
other
thought.
thing is,
I didn't think about the bulletproof because, the material's more technological advanced and probably lighter, but to keep bad smells out, it seems to me you'd need to have it totally sealed. Just a thought. I don't know. So
yeah, and I think it's probably bad smells, but things that could be bringing those smells, like the gases and all the other bad stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to stay YouTube friendly. So
let me see. Where's my phone lines? I can go away.
That,
phone lines are no longer open.
Can you confirm nor deny that each president has body doubles? Or not comment?
That's bullshit. No, I've been at that before. That's bullshit. Because we'd have a Secret Service detail on them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we would have a Secret Service on them too.
Yeah.
There's other leaders in the world that use that. Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi. There's some comedic body doubles as well. George W. Bush had one to the White House Correspondents' Dinner as the comedian the one year.
Yeah, but none that are stand.
Not that he was actually using for security reasons. Yeah. And there's another pretty famous one of Queen Elizabeth that is pretty damn good.
And in last comment, you said not all left people are crazy. Well, not all right people are either. So,
100%.
Call us all maggots. You call us all maggots. We're not all
I don't
maggots,
call everybody maggots. I just call maggots. MAGA morons.
Yeah. So,
all right, man. Well, what do you
All
got
right.
coming up? What's up?
Well, Well, we may or may not have bombed another country, or not bombed, but blew up a boat out of another country. There is that.
In addition to the 11 that we got yesterday?
No, just that one. Just that one. That drone took care of them pretty quickly. But yeah, we may have done that, and but I can't show it on YouTube.
I guess I'm getting a strike then.
Yeah, they'll copyright strike you. And then, actually, no, they won't copyright strike you. They will. What is it? It's the one where they get you for violence, nudity.
Community standards.
Yeah, that's the one. They'll hit you with that one. They'll tell you you're a bad man. Don't do it again.
Well, it's news, so I don't know what else you want me to talk about.
I agree. So, but I'm on pins and needles with YouTube at the moment, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you were saying, and I don't blame you.
90 days. So I won't be showing it, fuckers. So
you already got dinged.
Oh yeah, I got a letter from a fucking attorney. So yeah, I got dinged for 50 seconds. 50. Yes. And I can't go back and look and see what it was because it's gone. So yeah.
Well, see, that's the other thing that I hate about that. They tell you need to learn from your mistakes and whatever else. And I'm like, what did I do?
Show me. Yeah. It was 50 seconds of a person riding a mechanical bull at a public, well, I don't guess it was public because it was inside of a structure, but it was inside of a bar, live cam that's 24/7. I got dinged for that in a letter. Yeah. They even mailed AT&T. Yeah. For 50. My only guess is somebody in that 50 seconds.
Who even owns that footage?
It was a bar in Nashville. I'll have to go back and look at the name. My only guess is that in that 50 seconds, it showed somebody that was important. Of course, I don't know who celebrities are, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe exposed more than they wanted to be. That's my only guess. Because I've done that forever. Well, not forever. I haven't done it in a while, but that was an old hit. That was from 2023. So, yeah. Whoa, where'd that come from? Turn that down. I didn't even know it was on. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I got to get out of here. My chat's already lit up.
I got to cut our feed so that you can take it over. Sportcat is up next. Sportcat's Daily Gazette on the Mastiff Media Network, as well as Dare Media and his socials. I'll be back tomorrow for our Thursday session. That's it. I get the porch to run with the big dogs. I'm Yergs. See you tomorrow. Sportcat, you got it, pal.
All right. You got to run with the cats, man. Got to run with the cats.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
The cat's up next, yeah.
Yeah, don't need no big dogs chasing no cat. All right. I am live and in charge. Yep, I'm live in charge, brother. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.
You too, man.
All right. We killed the Yergs.